So we met working on a viral YouTube campaign that had 120 million views in 6 days and raised $14 million. And it changed our life. We were like, oh my gosh, when you connect with people through storytelling on the internet where they're spending time, you can impact people's lives, brands can scale revenue.
Welcome to another episode of From Startup to Wunderbrand with Nicholas Kuhner. Welcome back, everyone. Today we've got Mia and Elissa, who are passionate about helping brands build a deeper level of intimacy with their audience, combining effective cutting-edge technology with a nostalgia-forward human touch. They're the founders of Huxley, a Shorty Award-winning creative tech studio that specializes in one-on-one conversations, the first relationship-building chatbots in Instagram, DM, and Messenger. Leading an all-female team of designers and storytellers, they've worked with everyone from the New York Times best-selling authors to nonprofits like the Nature Conservancy and charity Water. So I'm super excited to have you guys here, and both of you, this is a double whammy. So we're going to talk a little bit about the importance of DMs, or how we are going to use DMs to actually generate cash money for customers, because so many people have got Instagram accounts, TikTok accounts, and they're not making one brass penny or one brass whatever you use in Mexico and places like that for money. So we're going to talk a little bit about relationships in digital branding, unlocking revenue in DMs, which is key, and the role of AI in the future of digital branding. We might not get to all of it, but we'll see how the conversation goes. So after that long and very winding introduction, welcome everyone.
Thank you so much for having us, Nicholas.
So I tried out your Huxley on Instagram, and it was very cool. And it was so cool because, as I mentioned to you just before this call, I grew up selling aromatherapy oil and all sorts of goodies like glycerine soaps, potpourri, and up came this great chat which took me through a story and a journey. And I was like, oh yes, I remember that. And it had AI generated images as well, I think, which was amazing. And that was so quick. So maybe as we start off, give me a little bit of background to yourselves, because and just a little spoiler, I think, Mia, you worked on the Obama campaign a couple of years ago.
Early days. But you learn a lot from that. He was like, really the first one to use social media.
Exactly.
But now, that ship has really sailed, and now we have an election coming up here soon, so this is all, tough.
Yeah, so we won't mention who's real good at social media right now and who's just doing TikTok. So let's just go back a little bit into your background, because Elissa, you have worked in content creation for a couple of years and have worked with Mia for a couple of years. Maybe talk to us a little bit about your background and how you started Huxley.
Yeah. Mia and I have been working together for 13 years, so definitely more than a couple of years. Honestly, my whole career has existed with Mia, like the whole time. So we met working on a viral YouTube campaign that had 120 million views in 6 days and raised $14 million. And it changed our life. We were like, oh my gosh, when you connect with people through storytelling on the internet where they're spending time, you can impact people's lives, brands can scale revenue. I want to give context. This is 2012. So I need people to know, like, the internet is not what it is now. So me and I kind of went on and started creating our own businesses, creating a mental health company, building our own learning management system, producing courses with New York Times bestsellers, you name it, thought leaders in the space. And the biggest thing we really learned in our experience of going viral, producing courses, creating technology, raising VC funding was just because you have a pretty video and nice lighting and good technology that's branded fun does not mean someone's going to change their life. The brand's not going to know who their audience is. How do you know what content resonated? For us, we were just dissatisfied with the content experience. So we took all of our online courses and made them interactive over Facebook Messenger. So we built an interactive chatbot in 2017, and we blew up. We became a different business. And I got obsessed with, how do we help brands connect with their audience in a delightful story-driven format? So Huxley has been through iterations of really learning how to best master this platform. But I would say since day one, I've been, how do we create delightful experiences online that help audiences feel delighted and brands make more money? And chat is like the bread and butter that we live and breathe every day.
Well, I can see that delight does come through in the work. And I suppose the big differentiator between, I mean, when people hear chatbots, they think, just AI, and this is going to be really lame and boring. But the engagement rate that you guys are getting on these chatbots is something quite staggering, I think, compared to other social media platforms, which have 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, if you're lucky.
I think something I wanted to for sure touch on is like the actual word chatbot for a second. Because like, honestly, we didn't even use that word for years because we were so, I'll say it, we were embarrassed about them. Like we were.
Absolutely.
Like, when you think the word chatbot, you think, oh my gosh, I have to talk to a customer service bot. That is just not going to be a good experience. But I think with the rise of AI and what's super cool is Meta has opened up their API. And the reason they did so is because what they have found out is that like most people, when they are spending time on Instagram, they're spending that time in the DMs, right? They're sharing reels, they're sharing stories, they're talking with their friends. I mean, I do. I'm sure you do. Like I never leave that little like, oh, when I get a message on Instagram, of course I'm going to go check it out, right? So they opened up that API and now there's this opportunity. Instead of just doing customer service, we can use that technology to do marketing. And what is so, I think, fun about the technology is that it's taking people from a very like, I'm just consuming content in a passive way to a very interactive way. Now I can engage with that story. I know you got to go through the demo and as you can see, there's multiple choice questions. There's open-ended questions. That one just had images, but others have videos. And it really draws the audience into a story where they're getting to understand who the brand is. And the brand, on the flip side, is getting to understand who these people are. And you talked about engagement rates, and our engagement rate is 35% on products that are woven into the story because they fit within the story. They're not just, here's a blast by my product. It's fitting into the larger experience, just as if a friend was recommending a product.
It did feel a little bit like a friend recommending a product because they were asking questions about my background, what did you grow up with, what scents and fragrances, evoke memories. So it really is a more emotive type of engagement. Now, one of the challenges, I guess, is that people are used to getting 10,000, 100,000, 1 million views on their videos. And that they're saying, yes, look at these numbers. We're actually reaching all of these people who love our product. But yours is different because you're not going to get 100,000 or 1 million people going through this process. But these are real customers. These are people who are actually learning about your brand and engaging with your brand.
Yeah, I always tell people to think about the funnel, right? The top of the funnel, reels, posts, that's brand awareness. That's, for us, we're brand education. That's where you like build that emotional relationship. So when we work with our clients, because we build all of these experiences, we call one-on-one chatbots here at Huxley, and we really focus on, okay, is it about generating more leads? Is it about selling a product? Is it a product launch? Are you launching a podcast? And then we work backwards to figure out where this fits in your funnel. But yeah, the reels, all that stuff, that's great. That's beautiful. Our job is to take those people that actually watch the reel that want something more, So that's what we really focus on, is that mid-funnel, end-of-funnel conversion.
I want to add to that because I think what's so interesting of how brands right now are using social, right, is like they'll rack up 1 million views on a video, right? But the call to action is come to our website, buy this thing, which in some cases that might be the right way to go. But in other cases, people might need a little bit more, right? Like they are coming to social media to be entertained. Now you want them to leave being entertained to go to your website. That's not what they're doing on their phone. So if you're going to keep them in, why don't we keep them entertained in a place that's what they're doing while they can still get to know you and engage with your brand?
So if anyone's listening and has their bingo, their From Startup to Wunderbrand bingo card ready, we're talking about the customer journey, which is my favorite thing. And I love that you spoke about where this fits into the customer journey and about the funnel. Now, the point about keeping people on the platform must mean that Meta love you as well, because one of the big challenges is that you either have to go through to an advert, which is, okay, buy, buy, buy. But this is a slightly softer process. This is about, okay, we're not doing a hard sell. If you want to buy it, here's a nice link. And I clicked on the link and it took me to the beautiful website and I saw the products, but I wasn't ready yet. But then I went back to the app and I continued the process. So it really was a phenomenal first time experience that I've had with something like this. But this is going to take me into my next question, which is Instagram, Facebook, Messenger, etc. What are the new channels that you're potentially going to add this onto? Is it just Instagram and TikTok and Facebook? I mean, what else is there? If people are, okay, a younger generation is like, okay, we've had enough of Instagram, we've had enough of TikTok. What's new for us? How are you integrating this into any new channels that are potentially blowing up?
Okay, a few things. One, thank you so much for going through the experience. I'm glad you had a good experience and then you came back. We see that behavior. That's what we see. And like a little side note, if you were to just do like, you know, the video, like a reel or TikTok and then send people off the website, that's it. Like you might not capture their email. You might not know anything else about them because they come to your website and then they get distracted and leave and they've fallen off. If they were in the DMs, you can re-engage them. You also have a PSID, so you could retarget them through ads. And you can also ask for their email address. You can stay. That's a little side note about customer.
I did go all the way to the end and ask you for my email, and I was like, nope, not today, Mr. Chatbot.
But to your question, I just wanted to touch on that really briefly. The other thing is you can do ads, and you're like, does Meta love this? Yes. Obviously, we're keeping people on the platform. But what's super interesting is that we are also seeing brands do ads, but driving people to the DMs. So the ad is not to buy something, it's to the DMs. Just as I was kind of saying, when someone clicks on the ad, it opens their DMs. You're getting a lot of information about who that individual is that you can't get any other way if you were to just drive them to a website. So, you know, their name, their handle, a few other things. And that goes right into your CRM. Yeah. For brands, it's really invaluable. But I think the other side is just to make it so it doesn't sound extractive. When we build these one-on-one experiences, we're really also thinking about the audience experience and what is going to keep them. Why would they want to engage with something like this? And if it's just for extraction, then no, obviously you're not going to want to do it as a consumer.
So as a company that's been in, you know, me and I have been building chatbots since 2017, predominantly on Facebook Messenger. And then Instagram opened up their DMs for automation 2 years ago. So going back to your question, where's the next place? The next place is Instagram. Like, I know that seems like an obvious thing, but I'm telling you, I can guarantee you, not many people in your audience have seen people use Instagram DMs unless it's maybe a creator asking for you to download their PDF file or, you know, sending you a podcast episode, which is great. But Instagram, it is the new place. But when it comes to the younger generation, I don't think it's clear yet. TikTok's API is not open to build on top of for their messaging platform. But me and I have really mastered the art of using chat in a way that treats people like humans, that keeps them engaged. I mean, our metrics speak volumes. People spend on average 5 minutes interacting with one-on-one chatbots. We've seen Gen Z spend 60 minutes. We've seen boomers coming in, people in their 60s and 70s. In the United States, we love the word boomer. But like we had them sending pictures, answering questions. You know, we have a 35% click-through rate on CTAs. So I think for us, it's about mastering this methodology of marketing chatbots. And then when the time is right to identify where's next, we've considered SMS, we've considered WhatsApp. But for us, we're just really big believers in Instagram right now.
Because it's the place people are spending time. When they move to something else, then we will move.
Yeah, no, I totally get you. I mean, my Instagram usage has just gone off the charts lately because that's where all my male friends and we have got our chat groups and we've got different groups and man, we laugh so much. We have a great time. And my wife and I, every night, we sit and go, okay, which of these did you look at? Something that I thought might be absolutely brilliant using this is for market research. And obviously, this is a great place to engage with folks. You could pay folks, or you can, have some kind of engagement. But the kind of information and the kind of process you go through can be fantastic for generating good market research results for clients. So not just branded content, but doing market research in an engaging way.
Which, let me tell you, is an art. Because who wants to do a survey? Do you want to do a survey? I know I don't, even when there's something free on the other end, right? So when we work with clients focused on how do we gather zero and first party data, because that's what we really focus on, but from the perspective of market research, for us, it's like, how can it be a value exchange, right? How can you entertain them, teach them something new, and in return get the information you need, right? So the experience, just for everyone to know, if you're like, what on earth is a one-on-one chatbot? I want to see it now. Go to Hey Huxley. Huxley spelled Huxly, and DMS, the password demo, and you can experience it. So in that experience, we ask people, tell us about your favorite scent, right? Mia, it was tell us your favorite scent from your childhood, right? That could be an interesting nostalgic thing for that brand to take that data, right? So for us, we try to use story-driven experiences to do market research to add that value exchange.
Actually, Elisa's really like, I'm going to give it away, Elisa. That question is because they are looking at like, what sense should we move into next? So if we see we have, 2,000 people like cinnamon, oh, hello, then maybe that's the direction we should be going.
Yeah. So you guys are a power duo, obviously, and you are selling yourselves as the two of you. How does that work in terms of marketing Huxley and your business? You obviously you might be in different time zones or in different cities at the moment. Talk to me about your marketing journey in terms of selling Huxley.
Sure. Well, I'll talk for a second about our relationship. Elisa and I, we've worked together, like she said, for 13 years. We also started Huxley in a loft in downtown Los Angeles. So that was our equivalent of the Silicon Valley garage. And that was, it was quite an experience. But like having that intimacy of working, obviously like so hard on something together, I feel like it really helped us figure out how to communicate. And at the end of the day, what Huxley is a communication channel. And if we can't communicate with each other, how can we communicate with anybody else? But what's so interesting is we were not good at communicating who we were. And we kind of were like, no, the technology needs to speak for itself. And I think at the time when we were starting, that was a little bit of just how things were. It should be about the brand itself. But I do think things are changing where people want to understand, well, who are the people behind the people coming up with the stuff that we're engaging with every day? Like, as we have tech founders who are now becoming quite insidious. Like, I don't know if I would like to buy a vehicle by somebody who thinks a certain way. So at least I'm sure you have stuff to add to that. The answer is we didn't market it. We didn't.
Well, and I told Mia this because our first business was a mental health startup targeting millennials to give them access to information in 2015. From the perspective of what was going on in marketing and pop culture, topics on life was not a trend. Now it is, like self-help and all the things, and mental wellness is all the rage. And I literally said to me a few months ago, I no longer want to be first to market ever again. I'm done. I'm tired.
Second. I always want to be second.
I feel like me and I have been just like waiting on the sidelines for chat to take off. And now because of our sacred god of ChatGPT, people are more prone and are building relationships with artificial intelligence, which creates a whole new market opportunity for us. And because the algorithm is such a pain in the ass, and because the people's attention spans are so limited, and because the DMs are where people spend time, it created us a whole new opportunity to really lean in and promote our business in a whole new way. So I don't know, talk to us in a year. The market has just positioned itself for us to really like be able to serve a need for brands.
So I love LinkedIn. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with LinkedIn, and I saw some of your videos on LinkedIn, which I'm sure on Instagram and all over. But it was so great seeing the two of you talking about your background and some of the challenges. And Mia, to your point, I think personal branding is the way forward for a majority of brands. The days of Coca-Colas and Fords and a couple of other brands we won't name. Those days of these mega brands with logos being the defining factor, I think, are over, because people do want, even though we're going into this very AI data driven world, people want that personal connection. And it's more exciting if they see you, know your backstory, have seen your journey, seen the ups and downs, and the trust is built there rather than in a logo. And this takes me to your very red website. Because your brand on LinkedIn, etc., is this beautiful, I don't know what the taupe, or I don't want to say beige, but beautiful.
It's
beige. Okay. Beautiful colors. And then the website is like, it's very masculine. It's very, I felt it was very masculine and trying to be something slightly different to what you portray. Was there a specific reason for that, perhaps because it's in the tech and AI space?
We're mid-brand transition. So when Huxley began, we built software for anyone to build one-on-ones. So we didn't get to that part of the story. But the biggest thing we learned was just because you make good content doesn't mean you know how to make a good chatbot. So we branded Huxley very human. We wanted the human element of what comes from chat to come through our brand. So right now that's disappearing as we speak. AKA why you see on LinkedIn and our Instagram. And our website's kind of brand new and is branded by Mia and I, because we have a very unique stance on chatbots. And we're trying to decipher ourselves from being a technology brand. Like, we're not a tech platform. We are a service-based creative company that builds these experiences. And one of our goals was to scream at people, which I can't believe it's something I'm saying. But like, if you go Google our industry, we wanted to stand out with our own unique edge and perspective. And for us, the neutrals no longer resonated with us, even though my whole wardrobe and brand is that. But yeah, that was, and I personally, like my couch, like I love the bold colors. And Mia might have more to add to this.
I think you hit the nail right on the head, but I also, I feel like gone are the days of Kanye telling us the beige is in. So we don't have a Kanye telling us what the color is anymore. So we are now red.
Well, at least you didn't go blue and white. So I'm very thankful that you didn't go the tech industry way like that. So you guys are in a very interesting field. It's developing quickly and obviously tons of potential here. Why not just join a big company like a Google or a Facebook and, wind this up? Why are you sticking with this? Because surely you've had offers, or surely you've had people say, well, come and work for me. You guys have got great ideas. What has kept you from having those golden handcuffs if they have been offered to you?
I personally value freedom. And I really like the lean part of running a business. Running a business is not for it's not for everyone. I don't think it's glamorous like the internet portrays it to be.
What?
I feel like also one of the things me and I have going for ourselves is we're really stubborn, and we've been waiting for the internet to be ready for our type of brand storytelling and marketing. And I think we have to see it through. Like, I think one of the goals, one of our ideas is, really becoming the leading company for this, and maybe merging with a brand or getting acquired. Obviously, that would be a goal of ours, but it's never really been, to be honest. We've had the most unconventional career. It sounds so dissatisfying for me, corporate America.
Because we get to kind of pick and choose exactly what we would like to do. And I think it's also our dynamic. Like, when she wants to do something, where I want to do something, we've really been able to figure out, like, what's the best way forward? And we're both able to bring our ideas to the table and listen to one another. And I feel like that's not something I'm sure happens at the Google.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's just talk about that for a second. Say you guys, and and I love talking about branding. So this is why some people create brands, so logos, so that they can exit quietly and nobody's going to know about them. And this is one of the challenges of having a personality-based brand where you two are the founders, and then you have to come with a deal, or you are behind the brand, and that's what the customer is buying. Have you had any thought about that? Has that been behind calling it Huxley, and how you've branded yourself and communicating yourself to the market?
I love that you're asking us this because oh man, this is quite a backstory. As like, I almost see us as former startup founders.
Yeah.
We're covering startup founders, tech founders to be particular. And we hid behind everything we built. You know, we followed the startup playbook. It never worked well for either of us. It never felt good, but you know, kind of once you get in the hamster wheel, you're in it. And now we're stepping back and we are focused on being the faces of our business. And we want brands to come to us because they know they're working with me and Elissa, because we have other ideas in our back pocket. You know, we've always said, like, if the metaverse becomes a thing, we'll be there. And we really want to position the company as like kind of this all-female team that does innovative marketing out of the box, that leads with relationship building. So, you know, we're still figuring out what it looks like to position us as the face. The name Huxley came from the author Aldous Huxley, because we used to work in education, and he was a big believer in we constantly have to be learning and evolving as humans. But I think it's, you know, from when someone listens to this right now, 6 months from now, we're going to evolve because we're feeling comfortable stepping in to do what feels right for our business. So a bright red website felt right for us. I think as business owners, honoring what feels good for you is really hard sometimes, you know? And I think that's been a fun challenge for us to face of like, okay, are we doing this because this is what we have to do? Or is it doing it because this is what we love and this is what we value?
Yeah, well, I love brave founders, and red. I mean, that red and black, that really just, it was shouting at me. And I did love that the pop-up was talking to me as well. So it wasn't just a static pop-up. So I felt, you know, this is obviously a chat-based website and a chat-based company. So that did come through. So don't take it as me attacking you too much.
Oh, I'm just giving you a hard time. I don't feel like you're attacking us. I'm just giving you a hard time. Sarcasm is one of my like love languages. So like,
marvelous.
Yeah.
Now, I've got to ask, how do you guys make money? So you've noted a couple of the big clients that you've got, but how, you know, do you charge for a project for setting it up? Because there's obviously a lot of setup that goes into this. So this is not something where they can just download a guide and do it themselves. How does the process work with you? And who are you dreaming is going to come and knock on your door?
Let's start there. Adidas.
Great question.
Free forever.
Yeah, you've forgotten, like, okay, Adidas, but on the flip side, when Charlie XCX or Taylor Swift launches a new album, they hit us up to create a unique experience. So for us, we're focused on creators and artists and consumers.
Can I just like explain that one for like a second before you continue on? Like when Elissa was like, okay, Taylor Swift or Charlie XX, the reason being, like, I think the concept you always think about is having gone to these concerts, you know, there's a lot of downtime while you're waiting for these people, right? So I think there'd be a very cool concert experience where, you know, there's like a lot of hype about kind of what's going on. And then when you're there and you're waiting in between, you know, the very long sets or the very long, like I waited, I think, I'm not going to say how long I waited for the t-shirt line at the recent era, but a long time. I think there could be a very cool experience where I don't know if we want to do trivia, and if you get something right, you unlock something at the merch stand, something like that. And then there's a post, you know, concert experience where you are like, what did you think? What was your favorite song? And then they're collecting the data about like what's resonating, maybe what didn't, and whatever it may be. But that's just to paint the little picture for you of what that could look like.
So, and you mentioned the Taylor Swift idea, and I love that type of engagement that you're talking about. I think that's what some brands are dreaming for, because just putting like on a reel is not really doing terribly much.
That's why for us at Huxley, we target mid to enterprise level corporations that have built their community and empires on social media. If social media is not the core of your business, like we work with the brands that have over 500,000 followers and more. That really value relationship building.
How do you talk to these folks? Because this is a new concept. How do you sell this in? I mean, obviously the engagement rate, the response to questions, the 5 minutes. I mean, these are sexy metrics. Let's not lie. How many people have said, no, it's not for me, I don't understand it? And how many have said, holy crap, I love this? You know, how do we start? What is the sort of response you're getting from these enterprise guys versus perhaps smaller but more nimble businesses?
How vulnerable do we want to get now?
No.
Well, but I honestly, though, the real first piece of the puzzle is education. Like, so normally we really have to educate that Meta has opened up their API to build on, that people are spending time in the DMs. Like, that's usually the whole first experience, is just educating people. And then we showcase what they can do with these different things. But I think one of the other big pieces to this puzzle is when we're sharing with brands, and this is the balance that I think we're always going to be dancing with, is like, we have to look at the positive for the brand, but at the end of the day, you can have a cool brand experience, but that doesn't mean it's a good audience experience. And so something that we're really interested in figuring out and communicating to brands is, how do we get you to have you meet the goals that you want? But at the same time, how do you create an experience that audiences are going to actually want to engage with? And so those are the balance that we strike in those sorts of meetings. Is like first education and then explaining why audiences want to go through these.
So our sales cycle was longer than I would like.
Well,
But,
Elissa,
Oh, go ahead.
you mentioned that you never want to be first to market again. And this is one of the big challenges of being first to market is education. I've spoken to a couple of founders who've got the most marvelous product, but they've got to explain this process and explain to people who are a bit reticent, or, it's easier just to spend money on an ad. My boss is not going to ask me where the money has gone. So I totally feel you in terms of the education side. And yeah, that's a tough gig. And it's expensive because a lot of time and money goes into creating educational content.
But a lot of money goes into creating a good, brand experience, whether that's like a pop-up or an experience that you don't get to, at the end of the day, they don't always get to collect that amount of data that's coming through from those.
So typically when brands learn about us, they're like, oh my God. Like when people when they see a one-on-one, that's when everything clicks. We just got to get our work into people's hands. And then typically they're like, okay, well, this would fit perfect in 6 months from now. And then we do get the small businesses. They're like, I'm ready to do this right now. Oh my God, your price point. I can't afford that. Okay, I'm going to go do it. And then they go do it and it's not good. And then it tarnishes the industry. So it's a really weird cycle because me and I've tried to work with small businesses or smaller like influencers. It's never been the best fit. We cannot serve them the way they deserve to be served because of all the work and how expensive we are. And
I don't think people always know who their audience is, right? Like when you're a smaller business,
yeah, like people don't understand. They don't know their business model or their established copy. And that makes our job so much harder. So somehow me and I ended up taking on like branding deals because we just love marketing, period. So for us, yeah, it's the getting our work in people's hands. But I don't know. I think part of running a business is intuition. And one of the reasons we have rebranded ourselves is really leading with innovation is because we know there's brands out there that are willing to be first to market with doing something new. And we are proud to say we are attracting them, people looking for something new.
So I ask entrepreneurs this because it's a very important question for you to think about and also for our audience potentially to help with. But what help do you need to take you to the next level? Is it investment? Is it, just more deals? And where do you see yourself in a year? Where are you going to be in a year? And what help can we or our audience give you to get there?
I got a few things, Mia, but I have no doubt.
Okay. Well, let's see what you got, and then I'll let you know if there's more.
Next summer. Oh no, I'm gonna pronounce this wrong. Mia, what's the festival we want to go to? I'm about to butcher this name.
Okay, our goal is to go to Cannes.
Yeah, to be speaking there and really have a stage to share about what's going on with marketing and storytelling in this format. In a year from now, we'll be working with Call Her Daddy and all of her unwell people.
Because podcasts are so interesting for this format. Like, you delivered the podcast episode through the DMs, but don't stop there. Let's invite people into the conversation. What did you think? What did you learn? These are the products I talked about. Like, invite your audience in. So that's why we really...
Yes.
Yeah. So, there was another part of the question, Colin, where we're going to be. So working with more of our real target people, like someone like Alex Cooper, all the way to, as Mia was saying, Adidas. Like, our goal is to position ourselves as the white glove luxury service for chatbots with marketing. And how we are positioning ourselves doing that is with speaking at conferences and podcasts. Ta-da! So that's one of our strategies. And then also when our clients are successful, we're successful. Because when people see that work, they're like, who did that? What is that? So the more viral moments we can create for our clients, the more successful we'll be.
You need to get onto the DigiDay podcast.
Telling me.
That will generate cash money and good leads for you. So that's the one that I'd suggest, because they'll love this. They will love you and they will love what you're doing, because it's a challenge that most marketers have.
Thank you. That's on our list to speak at their conferences. They're my favorite publication to follow, Glossy, all that stuff. I think they're the ones really on top of all the trends. So we had an online course launch on AdWorld. I don't know if it's familiar with AdWorld.
Yeah.
And that's brought in leads, some qualified, some not. And for us, it's about getting in front of its bigger brands.
Yeah. Well, you've already mentioned where folks can have a look at Huxley, but let's just repeat that. So where can people go to find out more about you? And if they want to have you explain the product, educate them a little bit more on the product, or actually buy the product?
So I feel like really the first thing, because I feel like we can talk all day about what is a marketing chatbot. You got experience. And so that, go to Hey Huxley, and it's Hey, like hey, and then Huxley, Huxly, no E. And you can message us the word demo, and you can experience the one-on-one chatbot for yourself. But if you want to know all the gritty details about like CRM connection and all the things that you could do, then you can just go to huxley.co.
Yes. Yeah, I made the mistake of going to huxley.com, and those scammers tried to scam me out of my contact details.
Oh, no.
So definitely huxley.co, everyone. So, guys, it's been fantastic chatting to you, and we could chat longer, obviously, but
Thank you for
I'd suggest that folks go to Hey Huxley on Instagram, and they can experience this by themselves. It really was pretty cool, and you might learn a little something about yourself in the process.
Cool. Thank you for having us, Nicholas.
Yes, and thank you so much for the thoughtful questions. As you can tell, we can talk about this stuff all day long.
We could, but it is 12 o'clock at night here, so I would, let's not.
Oh,
But Mia and Elissa, thank you so much for your time. And Cannes next year. So I look forward to seeing you.